everybody, it's your boy Franklin Crocker from the Franklin Crocker Show, and today we're going to be talking about Basquiat. We're doing a series right now. It's Black History Month, right? So Aaron, we're talking about Black history. So Basquiat is going to be the person we're talking about today. And shout out to also Reverie House. This is our sponsor, our biggest sponsor for our podcast. Thank you for allowing us to do this show with us. And Aaron, who do we have today?
Introducing our special guests today. We've got Paco Hernandez, the owner of Buffalo Art Movement.
B.A.M.
B.A.M! Exclamation point.
Thank you. Thanks for
and
having
we've
me.
got Tom Akers and Michael Constantine from Renew Bath and Body. Hello, guys.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
I'm so excited that you guys are here.
Thank you. Finally, we're all together.
Finally, we're all
Finally,
together.
yes. This has been
barely see each other.
a couple months in the making.
It's been a couple of years in the making, I think, right? And we're in the beautiful Monocle on Hurdle Avenue, this gorgeous space. So cheers to Michael and David for letting us film here.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Love
Thanks
you
for the
guys.
champagne.
They don't know it yet, but
Sorry.
You know now.
So,
It's
B.A.M.
delicious.
B.A.M. is a Buffalo Art Movement,
Yep.
right? It's a contemporary art gallery fueled by the talents of emerging and established artists in Buffalo and across Western New York. So tell us about B.A.M.
Well, thanks, Erin. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are really being tired of hearing me talk about BAM, but
But our listeners want to hear it, because
Thank
maybe
you.
they might not know about it.
Exactly. So no, I think this is a project that started out of love for art and love for Buffalo, and to create a space in which artists from this region, they can actually have a platform to show their work. Some of them to start their career, otherwise in somehow to engage with other artists, collaborate and create new work. You know, it is a commercial gallery, so we certainly are glad to exhibit the best of the art, the best of the artists of Western New York, whether they're established or they're emerging. And we're very happy to somehow to be part of their careers or their journeys as artists. So
You've built a lot of artists' careers, especially Michael. You
Michael,
just had,
yes.
I got my start
you
at
just had
BAM.
your
Yes.
start at B.A.M.
Yes, I
so
did.
tell us about that.
So I've been creating all my life, but it wasn't until BAM where I realized I can actually sell my work. I just kind of did it as therapy. And, you know, it kind of pushed me into molding myself into the artist that I'm still trying to be. So I think it's really cool that we're here talking about Basquiat, because he's definitely one of my 3 influences in a lot of my work. So
Basquiat, pretty dope. Shout out to my mother too, because my mother thinks she's an artist. My mother has, Aaron, you've been to my mom's house before.
Oh, well, she might have to.
My mother has a lot of
be an emerging artist
abstract
at
art. So shout out to my mom. Mom with her abstract art. One day.
You know, Buffalo is a really big art town.
I think, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of really incredible talent that we have here. But I oftentimes feel like, you know, those emerging artists, it's like, where do you even start and where do you even begin? So allowing artists the platform to really showcase their work, you know, and for curators and other, you know, and all of the art enthusiasts in Buffalo to come and see is incredible.
It is. I think indeed, I think one, of course, we have major academic institutions that they have strong art programs. But in addition to that, I think the community of Buffalo is a very nice ground that foster the career of artists who they have been formally trained, or artists who they are, you know, kind of developing their own style and their own pace without a formal training. And I think it is very nice to kind of discover or support artists from different kind of walks of life, and that they have different, you know, inspirations, styles, and sometimes the work of the artists progress and change over time, and sometimes.
And I'm sure that's like the coolest thing for you to watch, right? Because I'm sure you've been collecting art your entire life. You have a huge collection, right?
Yeah,
and that was really the kind of the start of your gallery, right?
Yes, I think
that inspired you to actually open up a gallery.
Yes, I think part through the process of collecting art and meeting artists directly, you know, while I'm trying to look at their work or working with other art galleries, I think we cannot discover one, the need to have a gallery or a space to further support Western New York artists. I must say that in Buffalo, New York, there are several art institutions that they do support our artists. The Buffalo Art Studio, the Revolver Gallery, the Hunt Gallery. But I think we're very proud to be the largest space that can support emerging artists, and as kind of adding to what this art community has become over the last, at least 30 years since I have been here in Buffalo. So,
oh my God! But you really, the cool thing is, I think you're really creating the culture and helping spark so much creativity. And you're helping my students. So we have a special fashion show that is this Saturday, the Basquiat meets Bergdorf Goodman fashion show.
Okay, dope.
And Renew is one of our major sponsors.
Yes.
So
thank you, Renew.
Thank you. All of you guys, I bow down to you because, you do so much for me. You do so much for my students. And I wholeheartely appreciate it so much,
Thank
you really the work that we're doing is really going to change lives. Even just the fact of having a fashion show and allowing us to utilize your space and giving my fashion students that platform, just as you do for emerging artists, to showcase their work and to have portfolio work. Is huge. And it's a boost of their, for their confidence.
True.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
And I think fashion is part of is art as well. It's a creative outlet, and I think one of the visions that we have at B.A.M from the very beginning was to somehow identify and support kind of new artists. Just like Michael, he was one of our first B.A.M Lab kind of success stories, and I will talk more about B.A.M Lab in a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
B.A.M Lab.
The first.
He was the first experiment.
And as you should be.
Cheers to
that. Cheers. Honestly,
no more left.
that's
Pass me
so
another glass over there,
exciting.
please. There's actually over there. I'm done already.
But
I feel like I should have brought my white jacket.
There you go.
and gloves and masks. No. But, so I think part of that kind of concept of how can we support really emerging artists, and again they also fashion is a part of art, and I do think that we have been very fortunate to have a lot of partnership with Buffalo State College. Especially with the students from the fashion and textile, department at Buffalo State College. And I think we started a fashion show last year.
We did.
And it was quite success in the sense that we kind of pulled students to create new kind of art pieces. Yeah. And again, inspired back then by Alexander McQueen. And it was and in addition to that, we kind of partnered with Erin, which has been a champion to kind of find academic support for the students from kind of different backgrounds and financial situations. Yeah. So I think we started a nice program in the sense that this annual fashion show is raising funds for scholarships that can be used for, Black students, which I think is very important. Yeah. We are firm believers that there has to be equal representation in many fields, not only in arts, but also in science. So I think, it's kind of putting a little bit of small bricks to build kind of a better tomorrow, so to say, without being too cliche. Yeah. So, but
exactly. No, I mean, last year we were able to raise $6,000. And this year we're already surpassed $7,000.
That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations.
Cheers to
that too.
Everybody.
We're gonna be cheersing all night.
All the hard work.
Cheers.
Because people really don't realize what it takes to put on a fashion show. Everybody thinks it's just a snap of the finger, but we have been working on this since the summer. Granted, we had to postpone a couple of times because of the blizzard and all of that. But, here we are. It's on Saturday. The students are still working on last minute touches. As students will be enhancements. We'll call it enhancements for sure. They've added a couple. So, if a student had one look, now they have perhaps two looks because they had more time to create, which is really great. But they're all competing, right? There's a first place, there's a second place, and there's a third place. And then they get cash prizes.
And a People's Choice Award.
And a People's Choice Award, which is so exciting. So there's going to be judges. It's like a little mini runway.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's going to be an intimate experience, but the whole basis is Basquiat. And so like, let's talk about Basquiat and really his contributions to the art world, to Black culture, to culture in general, because he is a force.
So real quick, Tom, in 1 or 2 words, describe, what do you think about Basquiat?
Oh, God. 2 words. 2 words. Oh, God.
I learned a lot about him.
Okay.
Graffiti.
Okay.
He's an amazing graffiti artist.
He was, yeah.
And his art is like bright and brilliant.
Yes, I agree. What about you, Mike? Basquiat.
He's Caribbean, Haitian, and Puerto Rican.
Yes. He speaks 3 different languages too, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
He modeled and he dated Madonna.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah. I'm going to get more into that. That's part of my fun facts here.
Is that a fun fact?
Sorry.
That's right. No, perfect. And you?
Well,
Marco?
I think certainly he was someone who break a glass ceiling for Black artists.
Yes.
You know, he had a unique style that is easily recognizable everywhere.
Yes.
And I think there has never been someone and never be someone like him.
Yeah.
But certainly has inspired a lot of people to create new work, and he has elevated what was perceived as street art to really kind of, museum quality.
To open up the door. And you said earlier, you said opening up the doors, because you're right. It was considered street art. It was considered just something I just do real fast, and because you started off saying graffiti. Graffiti is street art, but it's depending on who the graffiti artist is, it's amazing street art. These guys put a lot of time, and their eye and their technique is amazing. The strokes, and I say strokes, but it is the strokes, I guess. The strokes of the airbrush, the paintbrush. the air can, whatever it is. It's amazing how you can do that in such a big scale sometimes too. Because remember, it's not like it's a little small, like me painting on a piece of paper. It's a wall. It's a mural that's not. There's no design. They're not computerizing it. It's just all from the dome and just
all from the dome.
That's crazy. And the Basquiat did some amazing things. I looked at some stuff, and he was an amazing artist, man.
And has inspired, his career has inspired, decades and decades and decades of artists, fashion students. And I think it was the perfect artist, right? Here it's Black History Month, right? And his clash between the fashion world and the art world, just so fascinating. Like he modeled for Comme des Garçons.
Comme des Garçons.
Franklin has never said those words before ever in his life.
Never, ever. I just said it right now.
But he was, he was a poet, right? He wrote, pretty much he painted. Such an interesting, artist.
Yes. He had a very distinct style. Let me get into some fun facts. The fun facts right now are brought to you by a lot of media. A lot of media. So some fun facts about Michael Basquiat. Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Well, it's not Michael, it's Michel.
Michel,
right?
Because he's.
I don't speak French.
No, because he's Haitian.
He's Haitian.
Yes, he's Haitian.
So Michel.
Yeah, Michel. One of the things is one of his signatures for a lot of his pieces was the crown. He always put a crown. That was like a big motif for him, as the crown. You said something earlier that was my second thing. He actually dated Madonna in 1982. One of his quotes, which is really dope. It's very arrogant, but it's dope. I'm not a real person. I'm a legend. Ooh. That's think about that. I'm not a real person. I'm a legend. And this is before he was really, truly, gotta remember, he died in 1988. So he said that prior to his death. So he probably said that maybe 85, 86, probably even before that. But again, he wasn't even at the pinnacle of his career at the time. I guess before he died, he was, maybe he wasn't. He's more popular now. He's dead,
but he used to, he hung with Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol, yeah.
Here's the who's who.
You're talking like 1980s New York City.
1981 they actually met. They got the stats here.
And what was New York City like in 1980?
And it's very interesting because each of them influenced their work a lot. And sometimes you can, again, there was a point that who who was better. And I think that's a subject of a lot of debates in the art world.
Interesting.
To what degree Basquiat influenced more Warhol and vice versa. So, but I think it's also comes to kind of situation with some artists, they do influence your work in one way or another one. Course. You can collaborate. There are collaboration pieces between the two of them, you know. I must say that Basquiat was certainly someone who was kind of trained in art, you know, in contrast to what people sometimes assume, you know, because people assume sometimes that graffiti art or street-like
could
art
not be trained.
Could not be trained.
Yeah.
In reality, he actually was a very well-trained
artist. And in 1983,
you
just brought up Andy Warhol. 1983 to 85, they actually partnered up together. So they used Basquiat's, graffiti style, and they used Andy Warhol's bright pop imagery, and they created a bunch of art together.
Oh my gosh!
And I found out too.
How much is that? That's why $50 million.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Did you say Beyonce? Jay-Z bought Beyonce.
No, Beyonce bought Jay-Z for his 53rd birthday.
Talking about
a Basquiat painting. And also another fun fact about Basquiat. I don't know what the year was. I think it was 2 years ago, 2021. One of his paintings went for the most expensive painting, went for $110 million. $110 million from a Japanese.
I think I have another fun fact.
What's that?
His piece was the first, I think, piece done by a black artist to be featured in a Tiffany ad.
Oh, dope.
So in that last one with Beyonce, his piece was in the back.
Okay. And when they're at the gallery?
No. I forget whose home. It might have been their home, but it's believed that he made that specifically with Tiffany in mind because the color is very close to Tiffany blue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's dope.
The base color in it.
And I guess one more fact before we get off. Actually, two more facts. 1982, he was 21 years old. He became the youngest artist to have an exhibit in a place in Germany, an exhibit Documenta. In Germany. Yep. At 21 years old, he had nearly 60 paintings in there. Yeah. That's pretty dope.
Oh my gosh.
And one more other fun fact, and we're going to end with this last fun fact. He actually produced a song.
Wow, this masterpiece.
One song.
He produced one song, and ladies and gentlemen.
What was it called?
It's called Beat Bop.
Wow, should we sing it?
No, we can listen to it.
You might not want to sing this song, but we're definitely going to play it.
Let's play it.
This song was produced by Basquiat, and the two people in the song was K-Rob, and the other one was Ramillies. Now, I'm going to play it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to ever play this after tonight. But maybe you may play it later on. You might love it. I'm only going to play one verse, the first verse, and after that, we're out. But we want to break. No, it's a long song. It's 6 minutes and 11 seconds long. That's like a movie nowadays. That's long.
Well, the span of attention for more younger audience.
You can't keep my attention.
We need like 20 seconds a reel or something.
Yeah, this should be this song should be a 20-second reel.
Exactly.
Maestro, hit the button. Get funky with it. Hey.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
So far, I like it.
Yeah. Old school. Yeah.
It's got a good beat, though.
No. The rhyming is horrible.
It's not bad.
Well, I'm glad he paid
It's not that bad. I mean, but he's talking about prostitution.
Well,
it goes with
Colette.
It goes with the era.
Again, it goes with the era. I mean, if you are, coming of age in New York City in the 1980s, I mean...
But I must say that
New York was really rough.
Yeah, but courtesans are featured in literature for many years. Vanity Fair, Colette.
Yeah, true. That is true. Yeah, exactly.
You hear it fading?
That's
for a reason.
You really don't like it.
I know.
Really?
I actually like it.
I think that it's not that bad.
I think
it's not that bad.
For hip hop, it's horrible.
Well,
again,
but it is. It's older. It's an older
sign.
song.
We would say it's like the zeitgeist of the time.
Yeah.
It was 1980s. New York City. It was rough.
It was a bad time to be a prostitute.
It was a bad time to be a prostitute.
A really bad time to be a prostitute.
You know?
It has been a good time. But again, I do think also kind of tells you that artists can create many forms of art, and and sometimes again he gravitated towards painting, which maybe was better for him.
And you know,
singing,
but he did have a collector. The music he listened to, he loved jazz, he loved pop, he loved rock. So he did have a different. You can see it in his style.
Yes.
Because a lot of times I say you are the company you keep, just like you are the music you listen to.
Yes.
So when you listen to different kind of genres of music, you can tell in somebody's the way they talk sometimes, the way they walk. You can tell in their personality sometimes. So you can tell in his paintings that he definitely was open to different kind of things, which is pretty dope.
It's true. Yeah. No.
You know, so I'm gonna say there's a lyric in the song. We like to break the song down. At the beginning, it says, "It's pathetic dope addicts have to abuse." And what's sad about that is he died from an overdose.
I know. It's a kind of poetic justice.
Yeah, poetic justice. You know, he died in 1988. He was 27 years old.
27.
And the article that I read, it's sad to hear, but they said the day of his death, one of his staff or whoever it was said they seen him do about 100 lines of heroin.
Oh my God.
So all bumps, not lines, but maybe bumps, whatever it is, but just of heroin that day.
God.
And you know, they said it was accidental, but when you do 100 lines or 100 bumps, that ain't accidental, ladies and gentlemen. Accidental is when you bump your head on the wall and you die. But you know, that's almost intentional.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
100 times is intentional. That's not, you know, I'm not saying he was trying to kill himself, but you're not really, you know, you're not doing yourself any justice by doing 100 times. You know, and a lot of people, and that's funny because I talked to some people the other day, they think Basquiat's still living because he is talked about a lot still. Yes. People still talk about his paintings a lot.
He's trending. I feel like even since we created this fashion show and had the students, do some research on him and be inspired by his work, I hear his name all over the place. And it's just, it's wonderful that his legacy can live on and that so many, students can be inspired, like Michael, the fact that you're inspired by his work. Yeah. Did I see on your IG that you were doing a little custom sneakers?
I did do a custom sneaker for Sir Paco himself.
For Paco, for the fashion show.
There will be debut tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Not tomorrow, Saturday.
On Saturday.
I'm also doing a custom piece for one of our other friends, Liz.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got some gloves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I must say that, again, Basquiat, certainly his work has transcended just not like art, in the form of painting, but it really has influenced music, fashion, sculpture. So, and I think even the song that we played a little bit earlier may not be the best, but certainly has played the influence of maybe more modern songs that we can see, better quality, maybe better style. I think when it comes to fashion, certainly there's so many designers that they have adopted some of Basquiat images into their clothing, and we're talking about from accessible brands to kind of more haute couture brands. And I think something that we wanted to do with this particular fashion show is to try to kind of find a theme that students from Buffalo State College can get inspired. Okay. And I think with the reason that fashion sometimes is kind of highlight to be something like a luxury or something that's expensive, but sometimes can be accessible. And again, what is very important is that, street art can somehow inspire, kind of luxury designers or designers in that regard. So I think one of the reasons that we name our fashion show kind of, Basquiat meets Berghoff Goodman is because one, Basquiat influence has transcended beyond the streets into one of the most kind of pricier stores in the world. Yeah. Again, somebody has had the benefit of shopping or try to shop in Berghoff Goodman. You will find out unique works of art in the forms of clothing that they are unfortunately kind of way overpriced. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we're kind of challenging our students to kind of take inspiration from both ends and try to mash it together.
So kind of taking that rough kind of street vibe but then elevating it to like more of a couture luxury level.
And it's a challenge that we put
It
the
is a
students
challenge.
to.
Yeah.
And I think also that is in somehow stimulating creativity. We are very excited to see what is going to happen this Saturday. I do think that, yes, it's not only the excitement for the students to create something, to share it with the community of Buffalo, of course, the possibility to make some money. Why not?
Yes.
And we hope that they can reinvest that money in their fashion runway collection that will happen, later in the spring.
In April. That's right. We all work together on Runway. This is my team. So B.A.M is our presenting sponsor for Runway.
Thank you.
And Renew is a continued amazing sponsor for the past 16 years, guys. Can you believe I've been producing Runway for 16 years?
That's crazy.
That is insane.
Quinceañera.
So
it's 16.
It's my sweet 16.
Wow.
Yes,
Sweet
in fashion
16.
show. Yeah, in fashion show years.
So puffy dresses for this spring?
Puffy dresses. Let's just go all tulle and just
dress.
big high hair and all of that.
But and again, it's kind of interesting because for this weekend, which we're going to have the band at B.A.M, couple of things. One, not only the students are going to bring their best fashion, we're also challenging the guests to come dressed inspired of the team. And I can tell you that I have seen a couple of kind of outfits from some of our guests, and they're quite dead spot on basket inspired work. So
I would say that this is the comparison of like the Met Gala for Buffalo.
I would agree.
Yeah. Right? It's when you go to an event at B.A.M, it is about what you wear to the event. And it's about really thinking about the theme and then dressing the part, which I really appreciate because we live in Buffalo. There's not a lot of things to do where you get to dress up and actually and Buffalo loves a good theme party, just saying.
That's true. Again, we can go back to inspiration from Halloween, the Witch's Ball. Again, there's certainly that interest of people to kind of put a good show.
Yeah.
And, just like we have very hard supporters of the Buffalo Bills, which we respect them, and thankfully now they're resting for the rest of the year. So that is allowing us to have our fashion show.
This is the third time that we have rescheduled the event. But that's an interesting conversation. I don't think I've ever had to reschedule an event 3 times.
Especially because the Buffalo Bills game.
Real talk, it is hard to produce an event in Buffalo during the fall. I would have never, blizzards. Okay, check. Fine. We had a really crazy blizzard. We had to, two crazy blizzards, but the show was affected because of the blizzard, number one. Then the second date it was the Buffalo Bills. They were playing that night and on a Saturday, and we just could have never forecasted that. So that does make things complicated, and from an event producer standpoint, it's a nightmare.
But on the positive side,
we pulled it off, and
they won.
And they won that.
And they won.
Yeah,
so that was,
exactly.
So it was worth it.
Yeah,
it was worth it.
But
here we are, and I'm so excited.
There is a charm, so we are not postponing the show. There is a charm. And again, of course, we also want to kind of thank another sponsor for the show, Lago 210.
Yes,
and they are providing the food.
Lago 210. So it's a donation-based show. People can go to BAM716.com.
Follow the links.
And click and read some more about where to purchase, tickets and to donate. And it's February 18th.
This Saturday.
Doors open at 7, and the show starts promptly at 8. Yes. And we should say that it's beer and wine.
Wine and food.
Beautiful food, great food.
Music. We have a DJ.
And we have an incredible DJ. DJ Nadi is going to be in the house.
Dope.
And
so I get to dance.
Yeah, we're gonna dance. We're gonna definitely dance.
Students are showing how many?
We have 20.
Wow,
20 students.
20 fashion designers, I would say, like, I think it's about 24 different looks.
Yes.
And I'm going to say this. I attended the event last year.
Yes.
And I actually ended up getting something out of that whole event because I hooked up with Pete the God.
Yes.
I did one of those toughing classes.
You did a tufting class.
Yes,
That's right.
Class. Yeah, so because again, I think he ended up winning last year.
He won.
He
last
did.
year.
The People's Choice, I think.
People's Choice,
And his piece was eventually sold to someone in LA. So it's in
in LA. Dope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really incredible things that came from it. But I mean, just, all of you, your generosity, your time, we just, appreciate it so much.
Yeah, fashion and art is really dope together.
It is.
And your students are amazing. Your students have a very unique talent to them, especially coming from the Buffalo area. I know a lot of them sometimes are living in New York City, but still being here in Buffalo and bringing that New York City vibe here is really dope. And they're creative. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff. One day, when I get enough money, I'm going to get one of them to give me a whole ensemble. Just get the jeans and the shirt and the hat.
But looks very Madonna. What's the name of that movie?
Which one is that?
A League of Her Own.
A League of Their Own.
Yes. I'm going to be in a league of my own, too. I think they really got Who knew? So.
Exactly. So it's going to be a good night, and it's to benefit, the next generation of Black fashion students.
Yes, which is good.
Which is really incredible. This is a fundraiser for our Black Fashion Scholarship.
And I just want to thank, number one, you, Aaron, I'm going to go down the room here. But thank you for number one for your students and what they do. Also, Pac, I want to thank you for B.A.M as well and allowing them to come into your facility to actually put on this fashion shows using the art you have. Yes. Thank you for the art that you create. I went to your last show. That was amazing.
It was, that was probably one of my favorite shows.
Your show was amazing, man.
That was levels.
Yes.
And wait, we are using some of Michael's pieces to
enhance
the catwalks. So,
the catwalk. I love it. So we'll be able to see some of your work.
And Tom, also, thank you for being a sponsor as well, man, because, for a lot of Black students don't get these opportunities. And for what you guys are doing is really dope. And you're not Black. Yeah. And that's what I really appreciate it, because sometimes, it does take other communities to come in and help to get these students because a lot of times they don't have the opportunities to get these chances to do this. And for you guys to actually put up your money, put up your space, put up your time is amazing. And, more students need this, and more people and more companies need to do this for these students, whether it's your students across the country. Yeah. They need these opportunities because it's tough nowadays, man. It's really tough for a student after college, to really know what they want to do and give them the opportunity to start while they're still in college, to get their mind getting creative and building, you said earlier, building their portfolios. So when they get out into the real world, they have, a plethora of things they can show somebody, a creative, like, this is what I've done. This is what I did it for. This is the scholarships I got. Like, that is amazing to put on your resume as a student. So again, everybody here, I really thank all of you. Besides myself, I didn't do anything for this.
Thanks for hosting us.
You're hosting us tonight.
Yeah, but again, I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you for giving us the platform to promote the event and to promote the cause.
Yes.
Because I think what I like about Buffalo is a community.
Yes.
That everyone is helping each other.
Yes.
And I think regardless of ethnic background, religion, gender, etc., I think it's a community that we try to support each other. Business, work. As a matter of fact, again, we are filming here from another,
supporter. Yeah, everybody's supporting. Yeah.
So I think
that David, the monocle room.
That is great. So I think to us, that's very important. To me, I say is to give back. I think to the students, I think it's incredible to have these kind of opportunities in which you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
In the sense that you don't know if you never try, you will never go anywhere. And I think, I'm excited to see what they're creating, whether it's a bad hem or not. And, I can
Full disclosure, I did not, have the magnifying glass, going over every garment. But
it's the idea.
But it's the idea. And again, it's the platform. And it is. it's a lot for them to build up the, and muster up the strength to even to get themselves out there and to show, and to be vulnerable. But this type of platform is so special and so incredible.
And just to piggyback off what you said, I have a saying I use a lot. Fear is temporary, but regret is forever.
Yes, it's true.
So yes, you're gonna always have fear of is everybody gonna like it or they're not gonna like it, and that always happens. Yeah. But if you don't put yourself out there, you'll never know.
You never know.
And you have to put yourself out there. So it's really dope.
Yeah, and history is full of rejections.
Yeah,
and in every field, you can find
you have to fail.
Successful people fail, and it's okay. And the faster you get over that kind of fear of fail, I think the better. And
I think, as a creator, I feel like you create for yourself.
Yeah.
And people are going to like it. People are going to hate it. There's always going to be an opinion. So that's my advice to other creators. Just don't let it bother you.
Yeah.
You just create for you, and people would like it. People would hate it. It is what it is.
Exactly.
But you created it. It's yours.
For you,
You even say, like when you first started, you were trying to please everybody.
Yeah, you can't.
Pleasing everybody, you kind of lose your...
I hated what I was painting.
Kendrick Lamar made a song called "Can't Please Everybody." You can't.
No.
You have, you said the perfect thing. You got to do it for yourself. And if everybody else likes it, cool. If they don't like it, so be it. It's not for you. It's for me anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's really dope. You have that mindset. Do it for yourself. Dope.
It's true. And I think and again, it's also good to bounce back ideas in the sense that, yes, you don't need to be accepted. You don't need the validation from anyone else. But sometimes it's good to exchange ideas and get feedback.
Yeah.
Because you get better. So,
and this is getting the students out of the classroom into a real world experience. Yes. I should also mention my fashion show production class is going to be helping as volunteers, running front of house and back of house. So
it's different components that all
so many different components.
But everybody's learning.
But everybody's learning, and they're so excited.
And again,
I still need to figure out what I'm wearing. So you're going to do a subtle nod to Basquiat. Okay. I do want to. I found this really interesting quote because I was doing some research on his involvement in the fashion world and his involvement with Comme des Garçons. And how he modeled, in one of their fashion shows. But this was an interesting quote. It was a writer and a close friend of Basquiat's. He said, he discovered expensive European suits, but treated them like coveralls, splashing them with paint, and treating Armani like Dickies and Versace like Sears. Now, Sears doesn't really exist anymore, but it's an old school department store, right? So Versace like Sears. I love that comparison, right? And that analogy, he just would wear a suit and he would paint in it and it would get covered with paint. And that was his style, which, sums up all of my students that are in the lab right now. That's their style right now. It's very that knit and gritty kind of, 90s, early 2000s, and it's cool.
Well, like you said earlier, you got to show for the show. Yeah. If you're going to attend, you have to show up and show out.
That's right.
Outfit has to be on fleek. So if you think you got the best outfit, I want to see it. Yeah. Let me be the judge of that. And I'm gonna tell you if it's not.
Don't stop
we don't turn back anyone.
You are not.
Well, again, you do it for yourself, right?
Yeah, you do it for yourself.
That's really dope.
Thankfully, Sears is closed. No.
Right? Wow. That was, but it had its time. I mean, isn't that where everybody used to buy?
No, it's
they made the catalog iconic.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it's OG.
Yeah,
but
my tires.
The dope thing about fashion shows, though, the really dope thing about fashion shows is there's no hit or miss. It's a fashion show. Yeah. You're allowed to just go crazy.
Yeah.
The biggest hat, the biggest glasses, the biggest whatever's the brightest stuff. You're allowed to do that in that particular space, only in that space. Though.
Oh no, not in that only space. You're sitting amongst fashion.
But if they're talking about it, they did the job.
They did the job, exactly.
If you're talking about it, it works.
Exactly. And my uncle, who was when I say flamboyant, extremely flamboyant, the one thing he taught me growing up, I say this a lot, and Aaron heard it many times. When you walk into a room, if nobody's staring and looking at you, you're doing something wrong.
That's right.
True. So.
All right.
Yeah. Confidence.
Words to live by.
Words to live by. Yes.
Basquiat meets Bergdorf. fashion show.
So, yeah, show up and show out. And everybody, I thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you guys so much. This is great.
I say this all the time for you that's going to be watching this or listening to it.
Yes.
You could have been listening or watching any show in the world, but you're watching this show and we appreciate that. And you guys could have been anywhere right now.
Yes,
but you're here with us and we appreciate that. And
so
Aaron?
thank you so much for listening. If you don't want to miss a single episode, make sure to hit the subscribe and follow us on Spotify and YouTube. Of course, we appreciate all the love. Visit us on social media and connect with us. If you would like to be a guest on our show or just want to say hello, we would love to hear from you.
Come here. Yes, hear from
So we want to say a special thank you to our sponsors, Alado Media and Revelry House. Click the link below and show them some love. We are all about building community and helping move voices forward. And if you would like to be a sponsor, reach out to us at Franklin at the FranklinCrockerShow.com.
And remember, if your smart device isn't tuned into the Franklin Crocker Show, is it considered smart? Nah. We're the show that helps you to hear music differently. This is what we do. We curate meaningful conversations around music.
That's good.
And art, and fashion, and everything else. So
maybe next time we should do it in Remedy House.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And get a breakfast sandwich.
A breakfast sandwich.
We see you there all the time, Paco. Paco, we always do. You know what? One day, Paco, we should do a podcast at B.A.M.
Oh, should have anytime.
A podcast at B.A.M. would be fantastic.
Gotta be
so
fire.
I'll have good champagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming next. And you gonna bring champagne?
Oh, I have that.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you again.
Cheers.
God bless. Good night. And I'll look at you when I see you.